BBC News UK edition, Monday, the 17th of May 2004, 10:09 GMT, 11:09 UK. Famous sex theory questioned by Juliana Kettlewell, BBC News online science staff. A widely held theory explaining why we have frequent sex has been questioned by a report in Science. According to the Red Queen hypothesis, sex exists to help organisms protect themselves against parasites. Parasites are constantly developing new ways to take advantage, so animals need to evolve defences quickly, and sex, say some, allows them to do this. But scientists have constructed a model which suggests this arms race alone is not enough to account for sex. Clone invasion. Evolutionary biologists are obsessed with sex and why we have it. It is one of nature's great mysteries because there are not many obvious reasons why we should do it, but plenty why we should not. Firstly, sex is a very inefficient way to make babies. Asexual organisms can produce twice the amount of young than their sexual counterparts. Clones have a tremendous advantage, explained Kurt Lively, an evolutionary biologist from the University of Indiana, US. If you have a sexual population and you introduce a clone, that clone will have an advantage because its intrinsic growth rate is higher. So the clones should take over. Secondly, if being overrun by clones is not enough, sex is dangerous. You may catch a nasty disease while engaging in the messy act, and, even if you don't, your offspring are likely to inherit shoddy genes from their father. It is a paradox why so many organisms have sex, said the paper's co-author, Sarah Otto, from the University of British Columbia, Vancouver, Canada. If you are a parent who has survived to reproduce, you probably have a good gene combination, so shuffling them about is not going to benefit you. But sex does exist in great abundance. Natural selection, for some reason, chose it. The clones have not taken over, and the risk, big as it might be, is not big enough to make sex a bad idea. Red Queen to the rescue? One theory that attempts to explain why is called the Red Queen. It is named after the character in Through the Looking Glass, who tells Alice she has to run as fast as she can to stay in the same place. The idea is that organisms have to keep evolving, keep adopting a new genetic combination to outwit pathogens. The theory states that parasites are selected to target the most common genotype, which is now this clone, Professor Lively told BBC News Online. So if the parasites are successful and very virulent, they can prevent that clone from taking over the sexual population. But for this theory to work, there have to be an awful lot of parasites about, and they have to have very dramatic effects. There's the rub. According to a mathematical model developed by Sarah Otto and her colleague Scott Nuismer, there are not enough parasites about to explain why organisms have so much sex. Too much sex. Having sex every now and again might be an advantage, Dr. Otto believes. Doing it occasionally should fox the parasites, but doing it frequently probably just spoils winning genetic combinations. According to her model, if evading parasites was the only objective, organisms should reproduce sexually sometimes, but asexually often. If you actually do the maths, the hosts that are common in the population at the current moment in time have been doing a pretty good job at evading their parasites. A little sex makes enough of the combinations present, but having more sex breaks apart the combinations that are working to evade the parasites. Since we and many other organisms have more than a little sex, we might have to look beyond the Red Queen for the whole answer. What the Red Queen can't explain is why creatures have more than a minimal amount of sex, said Dr. Otto. If organisms only had sex very rarely, then it could be the case that the Red Queen could explain that. The end.